How does a 22-year-old with no college degree, no military record, and no professional credentials build one of the most powerful political youth organizations in American history in under a decade? The answer isn't charisma. Charisma is a symptom. The answer is system. A deliberate, psychologically engineered system built on 3 very specific human vulnerabilities. And once you see the architecture, you will never stop seeing it. Welcome to the case file. Let's establish the record. Factually, clinically, Charlie Kirk founded Turning Point USA in 2012 at age 18, operating out of a basement in the Chicago suburbs. By 2024, the organization claimed chapters on over 3,000 high school and college campuses. Its annual conference, AmFest, drew tens of thousands of attendees. Its media arm generated hundreds of millions of social media impressions monthly. Kirk had no inherited political machine. No party backing at the start. No elite university pedigree. He declined a West Point appointment and did not complete a college degree. What he did have was an acute, almost clinical sensitivity to what makes young people feel something. Specifically, fear, identity threat, and tribal belonging. That sensitivity, and how he operationalized it, is our subject today. 3 psychological pillars. 3 documented patterns. 1 very deliberate architecture. Pillar 1. In forensic psychology and influence research, there is a documented persuasion mechanism called grievance engineering. It is not the same as identifying real grievances, which any good political organizer does. Grievance engineering is the deliberate amplification and reframing of neutral or ordinary events as personal attacks on a specific identity group, in order to generate a sustained emotional state of low-grade threat. Why is threat useful? Because threat perception, documented in neuroscience going back to Joseph LeDoux's amygdala research in the 1990s, bypasses deliberative reasoning. A person who feels attacked does not analyze. They react. And they bond with whoever names the attacker first. Kirk demonstrated this pattern with extraordinary consistency. Pause and consider this documented example. In a 2019 speech at the University of Florida, Kirk told students, and I am paraphrasing from the recorded transcript, that American universities had become, in his words, the most dangerous place for a conservative in the country. Not a war zone. Not an economically depressed town. A university campus. Now, analytically, examine the psychological function of that statement. It is not a policy argument. It is a threat signal. It tells a young conservative, you are in danger. Your identity is under attack. You need protection. And Turning Point USA, conveniently, is the protection. This is textbook in-group solidarity manufacturing through external threat perception. It mirrors patterns documented in Robert Cialdini's work on influence, specifically the principle that humans affiliate most strongly with groups when they perceive a shared enemy. Kirk did not invent this mechanism. He industrialized it. Have you ever watched someone reframe an ordinary disagreement as a personal attack on who they are? Not what they said, who they are. Notice how quickly the conversation changes when that happens. That shift, that reframe, is the mechanism. And it works the same way at a kitchen table as it does at a stadium rally. Pillar 2. Psychologists William Swan and Angel Gomez formalized a concept in 2009 called identity fusion, the phenomenon where an individual's personal identity becomes so merged with a group identity that actions against the group feel like actions against the self. Once fusion occurs, loyalty is no longer rational. It is existential. Organizations that achieve identity fusion in their members do not need to argue for continued membership. They just need to remind members that the threat is still there. Now, examine how Turning Point USA's campus strategy was architected. The organization did not simply hand students a pamphlet. It gave them a title, Campus Coordinator. A uniform, the recognizable red Tpusa logo apparel. A documented enemy, the Liberal Campus Administration. A victory ritual, the filmed confrontation posted to social media. Pause and consider what each of those elements does psychologically. The title creates role identity. You are not just a student who agrees with some ideas. You are a coordinator, an operative, a person with a defined function inside a defined structure. The uniform creates visual tribe signaling. Humans are deeply responsive to in-group visual markers, documented in social identity theory going back to Henri Tajfel's foundational work in the 1970s. The documented enemy, the liberal campus, provides the external threat that sustains cohesion. Groups without external threats tend to fracture inward. Groups with a clear enemy stay unified. And the filmed confrontation? That is the initiation ritual. Anthropological research on group bonding consistently shows that shared risk and public commitment, what Robert Cialdini calls consistency and commitment, dramatically increases group loyalty. Once you have filmed yourself confronting a professor and posted it publicly, your identity is now on record. Backing down costs you more than staying in costs. Kirk's operational genius, and it is worth naming it as such, analytically, was that he did not just build an organization. He built an identity ecosystem. And identity ecosystems are extraordinarily difficult to leave. Think about a group you have belonged to, a sports team, a religious community, a close friend group. Can you remember the moment it stopped feeling like a choice and started feeling like who you are? That moment, that transition, is identity fusion. Most groups create it accidentally. Kirk's organization appears to have created it by design. Pillar 3. And this one is arguably the most important for understanding the architecture rather than just the personality. There is a well-documented phenomenon in behavioral economics and media psychology called the outrage loop. It works like this. Outrage, unlike fear, unlike sadness, unlike joy, is uniquely actionable as an emotion. It produces a behavioral impulse: do something, share, donate, show up, confront. Ryan Martin, a psychologist who studies anger, has documented that outrage is also highly contagious. It spreads faster through social networks than any other emotional content. This was later corroborated by the 2017 Berger and Milkman virality research at the Wharton School. Now, examine Kirk's content output pattern. His podcast, his social media presence, and his public speaking share a remarkably consistent emotional arc. Step 1. Identify a cultural flashpoint, a school curriculum, a corporate policy, a politician's statement. Step 2. Translate that flashpoint into a direct threat to the listener's identity. Not "this policy exists," but "they are coming for your children." Step 3. Provide a simple, clear action. Share this. Come to this event. Donate here. That is not a media strategy. That is a behavioral conditioning loop. It is, and this is not hyperbole, this is documented in persuasion literature, structurally similar to what B.F. Skinner called variable ratio reinforcement. The content that generates the most outrage gets the most engagement, which gets the most amplification, which trains the content producer to generate more outrage. The loop self-reinforces. Pause and consider the implications of that. The most psychologically activating content rises. The most psychologically activating presenter gains power. And the audience, through repeated exposure, has their baseline threat threshold gradually raised. What shocked in 2015 is routine in 2023. And what is routine in 2023 has to be escalated to produce the same emotional response. This is not unique to Kirk or to conservative media. The outrage loop is documented across the political spectrum and across global media ecosystems. What makes Kirk a compelling case study is the clarity and deliberateness with which the architecture is visible once you know what you are looking at. It is not random. It is not purely instinctive. It is engineered. Here is a diagnostic question to ask yourself about any media you consume regularly. Does engaging with this content leave you feeling informed and calm? Or does it leave you feeling activated and urgent? Because those are two very different products. And one of them is selling you something beyond the information itself. So let us close the case file and state the clinical summary. Charlie Kirk did not build Turning Point USA with money alone, or luck, or timing, though all three were factors. He built it by identifying 3 durable psychological vulnerabilities in his target demographic: young people navigating identity formation, seeking belonging, and susceptible to threat-based mobilization, and constructing an organization that addressed all 3 simultaneously. Grievance Engineering provided the threat. Identity fusion provided the home. The Outrage Loop provided the fuel. Each pillar reinforced the others. The threat made the tribe necessary. The tribe made the content shareable. The content generated new recruits who needed the tribe. That is not politics. That is systems psychology at scale. And understanding it, dissecting it the way we have done today, does not require you to agree or disagree with any of Kirk's political positions. The architecture works regardless of the ideology it carries, which means it can be built by anyone, which means the skill you need, the only reliable defense, is the ability to see the architecture while you are standing inside it. Before we close, the lesson you can actually use. Forensic psychology is not only useful for analyzing public figures. Its real value is in training the pattern recognition part of your mind to identify these structures early, in workplaces, in relationships, in communities you are already part of. Here are 3 observable red flags from today's analysis that translate directly to everyday life. Red flag 1. The threat that never resolves. If a leader, influencer, or community constantly tells you that you are under attack, but the attack never ends and the threat never resolves, ask yourself, what function does the permanent threat serve? Sustained threat perception benefits the person who controls the narrative of who the enemy is. Red flag 2. Identity replacement. When belonging to a group begins to feel more fundamental to your identity than your own independent values and relationships, when leaving the group feels like losing yourself, that is identity fusion. Healthy communities make it easy to leave. Engineered ones make it feel impossible. Red flag 3. Activation without information. If consuming a piece of content consistently leaves you feeling emotionally activated but no more factually informed, if you feel urgency without clarity, you are likely inside an outrage loop. The content is producing a feeling, not a thought. Pause and consider these 3 patterns the next time you feel yourself being pulled toward urgency, toward tribal loyalty, or toward a simple, named enemy. The architecture is not limited to politics. It is a human behavioral pattern. And now, you know what it looks like. This has been a psychological case study. The analysis presented reflects documented behavioral patterns and published psychological research. All conclusions are analytical in nature. If this kind of forensic examination of influence, power, and behavior is what you are here for, the next case file is already open.